This is a story that hospitals and pharmaceutical companies are often reluctant to talk about. The idea that simply cutting back on sugar is enough? That's only half true. I've watched diabetic patients avoid sugar with extreme care, only to unknowingly consume foods that spike their blood sugar even more. Today, I'll reveal the truth. There are foods that raise your blood sugar far more than sugar itself. You might wonder, sweet potatoes? Really? But I've tested this on myself and with my patients, and the results were astonishing. The reason I'm sharing this story is simple. I don't want you to suffer needlessly. My name is Choi Myung-ho. I'm 85 years old and have spent over 40 years studying diabetes. Every day, more than 10 patients visit my clinic, from seniors to people in their 40s, just newly diagnosed. Although I'm well past retirement age, I still meet patients regularly because I want to share these simple strategies I've discovered over the years. I was diagnosed with diabetes myself at age 45 due to overwork and irregular eating. At first, I cut out sugar and relied heavily on medication. My post-meal blood sugar would often soar past 200, and my dosage kept increasing. It was ironic, a doctor helping others manage their health, unable to manage his own. I would spend sleepless nights poring over research papers, skip proper meals in the morning, and rush into consultations. After 10 years, my condition worsened and my blood sugar kept climbing. Then one day, a 92-year-old man walked into my office and asked, "Doctor, why do you keep recommending medication? Do you take these drugs yourself?" That question shook me. He continued, "I've lived my whole life without medication. In my village, food was our medicine." His words triggered deep reflection. I realized I had been hiding behind the authority of being a doctor. And so, I began experimenting on myself with patients. And after a decade of trials and research, I found ways to maintain stable blood sugar without medication. These aren't textbook theories. They're practical methods I tested on my own body and verified with thousands of patients. It started with small changes, eating vegetables before rice, switching from roasted to steamed sweet potatoes, adjusting the types and timing of fruit. These tiny changes added up to a massive difference. Today, I manage my blood sugar without medication. My HbA1c is 5.8, and my fasting glucose stays under 110. Many of my patients have been able to stop their medication completely, and I believe you can experience a big change too if you listen and put these ideas into practice. Are you tired of relying on pills? Do you feel defeated because your blood sugar is still high despite medication? If this video could help you, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm cheering for your healthy journey ahead. In the beginning, I felt just as overwhelmed. I didn't know where to start. I read countless research papers and tried everything with my patients. And the most surprising discovery? Just one habit. Eating vegetables before meals started changing everything. Why does something so simple work? It all comes down to how our body regulates blood sugar. When we eat, our blood sugar rises, and insulin is released by the pancreas to help move that sugar into our cells for energy. But in diabetics, this process is impaired. Either the body doesn't produce enough insulin, or it doesn't respond to it properly. And here's the key. The order in which we eat foods affects how fast our blood sugar rises. By simply changing the sequence of a meal, we saw blood sugar drop by 30 to 40 points. Steamed cabbage in the morning, choosing fruits wisely, adjusting snacks, all these small decisions helped lower HbA1c levels by more than 1.2 points. In one study at my clinic, we tracked 20 diabetic patients for 3 months. We didn't change their medication, only the order of their meals. Vegetables first, followed by protein, then carbohydrates. Every participant's HbA1c dropped by an average of 1.2 points, similar to results seen with drug treatments. One patient, Mr. Park Young-soo, 78 years old, had taken diabetes meds for 20 years. After just 3 months of changing his eating order and switching from roasted to steamed sweet potatoes, he was able to cut his medication in half. He began each morning with 10 leaves of steamed cabbage and always ate vegetables first during meals. What started as a hassle quickly became habit when he saw his numbers improve. He told me, "Doctor, why didn't anyone teach me this simple trick? I've been on medication for 20 years, and all I had to do was change the order I eat. Now I'm even teaching my grandkids about this." And now, the main part of this video begins. To truly gain the benefits, you need to listen through to the end as I explain the 5 foods more dangerous than sugar and the practical methods to stabilize your blood sugar. If this is your first time visiting the Bioxage channel, please consider subscribing and liking the video. We'll continue to share useful health information regularly, and if you're open to it, consider joining our membership program to receive early access to our health updates and never miss the essential tips we prepare with care for a long, healthy life together. We share practical wisdom for 100-year health every week. Have you believed all this time that diabetes means taking medication for life, or that avoiding sugar alone is enough to control blood glucose? It's time to discover the real secrets of blood sugar management. Let's start. First, roasted sweet potatoes, more dangerous than sugar. Yes, we're diving into the foods that are more dangerous to your blood sugar than sugar itself. And at the top of that list is roasted sweet potato. Surprising, isn't it? Many believe sweet potatoes are good for diabetics, and generally they are a health food when prepared right. But roasted sweet potatoes rapidly spike blood glucose due to how quickly their starch is absorbed. In fact, their glycemic index can be even higher than that of sugar. Let me explain. The glycemic index, GI, is a measure of how quickly a food raises blood sugar. Glucose is the reference point at 100. Table sugar has a GI of around 65, but roasted sweet potatoes can have a GI as high as 90. Especially the bright yellow pumpkin sweet potatoes, these are even higher in sugar and GI. Let me share the story of 68-year-old Mrs. Kim Young-hee. After being diagnosed with diabetes, she cut out sugar and sweets and began eating roasted sweet potatoes daily as a healthy snack. Every afternoon, when she felt a bit hungry, she would have one. But 3 months later, her HbA1c had risen from 7.2 to 8.5. She was shocked. "Doctor, I cut out all sweets. Why is this happening?" So we kept a food diary and examined everything. The problem? The roasted sweet potato. To test it, we waited until 2 hours after lunch when her blood sugar was stable. Then she ate 1 roasted sweet potato. 30 minutes later, we checked her levels. They had skyrocketed to 240. She was stunned. I had no idea sweet potatoes were this dangerous. I thought they were healthy. So what's happening here scientifically? When sweet potatoes are roasted, the heat rapidly breaks down the starch into sugars, making them easier to digest and absorb. This leads to a spike in blood sugar, much like refined sugar would. But that doesn't mean you need to eliminate sweet potatoes altogether. Instead, switch to steamed or even raw sweet potatoes and keep the serving size under 80 grams. Half a small steamed sweet potato is ideal. The steaming process modifies the starch structure, which slows digestion and moderates blood sugar rise. Also, never eat sweet potatoes on an empty stomach. Always have them as a small snack after meals. Eating anything on an empty stomach can raise your blood sugar faster. And if you have a sensitive stomach, raw sweet potatoes may cause gas and discomfort. Steamed and fully cooked is always better for digestion. So, what snacks do you enjoy? Have you considered roasted sweet potatoes a health food? From today on, try switching to steamed sweet potatoes and only after meals in small portions. This small change can make a huge difference in blood sugar management. Second, eating order, the start of a blood sugar explosion. The next key factor is meal order. How do you usually eat your meals? If you're like most people in Korea, you probably start with rice or soup. But this habit leads to rapid spikes in blood sugar. Why? because the body reacts most strongly to the first foods it receives, especially on an empty stomach. If carbohydrates like rice come first, your blood sugar spikes quickly, triggering an excessive insulin response. Over time, this pattern increases insulin resistance, making diabetes harder to control. But there's a simple fix. Eat vegetables first, then protein, then carbohydrates. Why does this help? Dietary fiber in vegetables lines the gut and slows the absorption of carbs that follow. Protein helps stimulate insulin and increases satiety, helping prevent overeating. A study from Kyoto University in Japan found that simply changing the order of meals lowered post-meal blood sugar by 37% on average. Let me share another case. Mr. Jong Gicheol, age 90. He had been on diabetes medication for 15 years, and his HbA1c had reached 8.2. His doctor told him insulin injections were the next step. In despair, he came to see me. Despite his efforts, eating brown rice, avoiding fatty meats, his blood sugar remained high. When I examined his eating habits, I found the issue. He always ate rice first, followed by soup and side dishes. I suggested a change. Start every meal with cabbage or lettuce, then tofu or lean meat, and eat rice last. He found it awkward at first, but agreed to try it for a month. 3 months later, his HbA1c had dropped from 8.2 to 6.4. He no longer needed insulin, and his medication was reduced. Mr. Jong said joyfully, "I'm amazed that something so simple could be this effective. Why didn't anyone tell me this in the last 15 years? The method is simple. Eat steamed cabbage, tofu, lean meat, then rice, in that order. This is especially important in the morning. Always start your breakfast with vegetables. Also, be careful with sauces and condiments. Soy sauce and doenjang, fermented soybean paste, are fine, but gochujang, red chili paste, and anything with sugar can negatively affect your blood sugar, even if you eat your food in the right order. Gochujang, in particular, contains more sugar than most people think. This is my personal routine too. Every morning, I begin with 10 leaves of steamed cabbage, followed by tofu or eggs, and finish with a small serving of multigrain rice. Since sticking to this order, my post-meal blood sugar has never exceeded 140. Even at age 85, I maintain a fasting glucose below 100 and a post-meal level under 140. This is one of the key secrets. Have you ever thought about the order in which you eat? Eating rice last may feel unnatural at first, but try it. Start tonight. Eat your vegetables first, then protein, then carbs. This is one of the simplest and most effective habits you can adopt. Third, fruit. Too much can become poison. The third point to watch out for is fruit. You've heard it before. Fruit is healthy. Eat lots of it. It's common wisdom. Fruit is rich in vitamins and fiber, after all. But for diabetics, fruit can be a double-edged sword. Fruits contain fructose, a natural sugar. While fructose raises blood sugar more slowly than glucose, it still increases blood glucose levels. And diabetics must be particularly careful about the type, amount, and timing of fruit consumption. Bananas, watermelons, and pineapples have high glycemic indices and can spike blood sugar dramatically. Bananas, for instance, are often eaten as a healthy breakfast food, but they can be risky. The GI of a banana is around 60, which is higher than many expect. Watermelon scores even higher, around 72. Mrs. Lee Sunja, 75, enjoyed watermelon in the summer. Thinking that its high water content made it safe, she ate a few slices daily. Then one day, she felt dizzy, tested her blood sugar, and it was over 200. She was shocked. "I didn't know watermelon could raise blood sugar like that. I thought it was just like drinking water," she said. So, I suggested we run some blood sugar tests before and after eating different fruits. For 1 week, we experimented with the type, amount, and timing of various fruits. The results were eye-opening. The same amount of fruit led to vastly different blood sugar responses. Watermelon raised her blood sugar by more than 60 points in 30 minutes. Bananas raised it by about 70, but strawberries only about 20. Mrs. Lee was stunned. I had no idea different fruits had such different effects. If you're diabetic, limit fruit to under 80 grams per serving, roughly the size of an adult's palm, and always check your blood sugar after eating to see how your body reacts. There are personal variations. Even low GI fruits can cause significant spikes in some people. Fruits generally recommended for diabetics include strawberries, blueberries, and tomatoes, all of which have lower GIs. Strawberries, for example, have a GI around 40 and are rich in antioxidants. Tomatoes, technically a fruit, have a GI of just 30. Just because something is healthy doesn't mean you should eat it without limits. This is especially true for those with diabetes. While fruits are rich in vitamins and minerals, they also contain a lot of natural sugar. That's why they should be treated like medicine, consumed in controlled doses. I personally love fruit, but after my diabetes diagnosis, I stick mainly to strawberries and tomatoes and always monitor my portions. When I do crave other fruits, I eat a very small amount, about 2 hours after a meal, paired with protein or fat to slow sugar absorption. For example, if I eat an apple, I only eat a quarter of it, alongside some cheese or nuts. This helps mitigate blood sugar spikes. What fruits do you eat regularly? Starting today, pay closer attention to your choices. If possible, monitor your blood sugar before and after eating fruit. That's the best way to learn how your body reacts and find the types and quantities that are safe for you. Fourth, controlling fasting blood sugar. Start your morning with steamed cabbage. The fourth topic I want to address is how to control fasting blood sugar. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you eat? Coffee, bread, rice. Your digestive system in a fasting state acts like a dry field. It absorbs quickly. The first thing you eat in the morning will determine how sharply your blood sugar rises. After a night of fasting, your body maintains blood glucose by drawing on stored sugar from the liver. If you then eat something high in carbohydrates, your blood sugar can spike dramatically. Especially risky are high GI foods like bread, cereal, and fruit juice. I recommend that all my diabetic patients begin their day with steamed cabbage. Cabbage is high in dietary fiber, which coats the intestines and slows carbohydrate absorption. It also contains compounds that improve insulin sensitivity, making it extremely helpful in managing blood sugar. Cabbage is also packed with antioxidants and vitamins C and K, which help strengthen the immune system. Let me share a story about Mr. Kim Jong-ho, age 90. His fasting blood sugar levels in the morning were consistently between 140 and 150, even with medication. He was growing frustrated because nothing seemed to work. I recommended he try starting his morning with steamed cabbage. At first, he was skeptical. Cabbage? Does that really work? Isn't that just a common vegetable? Still, he gave it a try. Every morning before eating rice, he ate 10 palm-sized leaves of steamed cabbage. Then he waited about 10 minutes before proceeding with his usual breakfast. A week later, his fasting glucose dropped to 120. That's a 30-point improvement. Mr. Kim was amazed and even double-checked the results, only to find the same readings. Ever since he began this habit, his fasting blood sugar has remained stable. He told me, "Doctor, I can't believe something so simple made such a difference. I've struggled for years adjusting my medication, but all it took was cabbage." He was so impressed that he started spreading the word among his friends, preaching the benefits of steamed cabbage. Preparing steamed cabbage is easy. Just steam it in the microwave for 3 minutes. About 10 palm-sized pieces are the perfect portion. For taste, you can add a small amount of doenjang, fermented soybean paste, or olive oil. But be cautious with sodium, especially if you use doenjang or mayonnaise. A single teaspoon is enough. Here's how I prepare it. Wash half a head of cabbage and cut it into palm-sized pieces. Place them in a deep dish, sprinkle with a little water, cover with plastic wrap, and microwave for 3 minutes. Be careful not to overcook it, as that can destroy the vitamins. If you find the taste too bland, add a pinch of salt or a few drops of olive oil. I personally start every morning with steamed cabbage, and it helps keep my fasting glucose under 100. If you prepare it the night before, your mornings will be even easier. Just reheat it briefly and you're ready to go. So, what's the first thing you eat in the morning? Is it bread, cereal, or fruit? Starting tomorrow, try replacing that with steamed cabbage. It's a simple but highly effective method. Once your fasting blood sugar stabilizes, managing your glucose throughout the day becomes much easier. Fifth, low-fat snacks can worsen hunger. Finally, let's talk about snacks, specifically the types of snacks that actually worsen hunger. One of the biggest challenges for diabetics is constant hunger. You feel the urge to snack between meals, and that makes blood sugar harder to control. Many people believe low-fat snacks are healthier, but the reality is they can make things worse. Snacks that don't keep you full often lead to overeating later. Take low-fat crackers or plain noodles, for instance. They may curb your hunger for a moment, but soon you're hungry again. That's because they lack fat, which is essential for satiety. Healthy fat helps you feel full longer and prevents sharp spikes and drops in blood sugar. But not all fats are equal. Choosing the right ones is key. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Park Miran, age 70. She ate only low-fat foods in an effort to lose weight. For snacks, she ate plain noodles or low-fat crackers. Yet she was constantly hungry and ended up overeating, which made it difficult to manage her blood sugar. She would tell me, "Doctor, I try to eat light, but I'm always hungry. Then I eat too much and my blood sugar spikes. It's a vicious cycle." I recommended she try bulletproof tea and snacks that included protein and healthy fat. Bulletproof tea is a beverage made by adding a small amount of butter to strong tea. It reduces hunger thanks to the healthy fats. I also recommended combinations like apple slices with peanut butter. The fiber in apples and the fat and protein in peanut butter work together to slow sugar absorption and keep you full longer. At first she was worried. "Won't butter make me gain weight?" she asked. But I explained that healthy fat doesn't necessarily lead to weight gain. In fact, it can help reduce your total calorie intake by keeping you satisfied. 1 month later, Mrs. Park no longer felt those constant hunger pangs, and her meal sizes decreased naturally. "Now, if I have a snack, I'm not hungry for 3 or 4 hours, she told me. "Before, I'd be starving again within an hour. This is completely different." As a result, her blood sugar stabilized, and she even lost 2 kilograms. Making bulletproof tea is simple. Brew a strong cup of tea and add 1 teaspoon of unsalted butter. Stir well until fully melted. If your stomach is sensitive, reduce the amount of butter, and if you can't tolerate coffee, simply use black tea instead. The flavor might seem unusual at first, but you'll quickly get used to it and be surprised by the effect. Other healthy snack options include boiled eggs, avocado, and a small handful of nuts. These won't spike your blood sugar and help you feel satisfied longer, making them excellent choices for people with diabetes. Avocados in particular are rich in healthy fats and fiber, both of which support blood sugar control. Nuts are also a good option, but portion control is important. Walnuts, almonds, peanuts, these are full of healthy fats and protein, but they're also high in calories. A handful a day is plenty. Choose unsalted, raw nuts whenever possible. Salted or roasted versions can contain excessive sodium and added oils. So, what kind of snacks do you usually reach for when you're feeling peckish? Are you choosing low-fat crackers or rice cakes that are mostly carbohydrates? Starting today, switch to snacks that include healthy fats. You'll feel less hungry, and your blood sugar will be more stable. It's time to think long-term. Prioritize your overall health over short-term cravings. We've now talked about the foods that are actually more dangerous than sugar and the habits that can stabilize blood sugar levels. What did you think? They're simpler than you expected, right? That's because good health doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from small habits practiced every day. After treating diabetic patients for over 40 years, I've come to a firm belief. Diabetes isn't a sentence. It's a new beginning. It's your body's signal to adopt a healthier lifestyle. Even just changing the order of your 3 daily meals can alter your blood sugar significantly. Many patients have told me they never imagined such small changes could lead to such big differences. Let me summarize today's key points. 1. Replace roasted sweet potatoes with a small amount of steamed sweet potatoes. 2. Eat your meals in this order: vegetables, protein, then carbohydrates. 3. Choose low GI fruits like strawberries and tomatoes and limit your portions. 4. Start your morning with steamed cabbage to control fasting blood sugar. 5. Pick snacks with healthy fats, not just low-calorie options. The greatest lesson of my 85 years of life is this: health is your most valuable asset. Without it, money and fame are meaningless. I always tell my patients, start now, not tomorrow, now. Don't give up just because of your age or how long you've had the condition. I began this journey at 60, and now, at 85, I'm living well, without medication. Begin today. Start with 10 leaves of steamed cabbage on an empty stomach. Then eat your meals with vegetables first. Choose snacks that include healthy fats. These small changes, when added together, lead to big results. It's never too late to start. I hope this video has given you hope. Diabetes can be managed. I've had patients who were on medication for over 20 years and were able to stop entirely through these lifestyle changes. Of course, not everyone will be able to stop medication completely, but anyone can reduce their dosage and maintain a healthier state. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Next time, I'll talk about the essential principles of protein intake, what types are best for diabetics, how much you should eat, and easy recipes to help you get started. So let me ask, where will you begin? I hope the experiences of this 85-year-old doctor can offer you even a small step toward a healthier life. Thank you.